Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Hello, Rockingham, and welcome to the feed. It's another episode with Mike and Marty. Marty's off-site, being socially distant today, but she'll join us here in a minute. We have Ryan Coyne with us. He's running for representative of the state. We're going to join him in a minute. It's August 12th. We're not halfway through August, but we're close to halfway through August, and it's hot as whatever outside, but it's supposed to cool off. Marty, want to tell us about some election results?
Yeah, so what I'm seeing for election results, the District 3 House candidates are Leslie Goldman and Carolyn Partridge. So congratulations to Leslie and Carolyn, and a huge thank you and shout out to Kelly for her service thus far, and hope that we will see her on the ballot again.
I hope so too.
Breaking news in the Rockingham School District, they decided to reverse their original vote, and they will now be going with a hybrid model. It passed on a 4-0 in agreement vote. So now all of the schools in the district will be on the same hybrid model. So I think that'll help a lot of people with planning, teachers, students, make people feel like at least there's a plan moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best point to make, is that if all of these things are difficult, but to be consistently doing something so you don't just drive every parent crazy because their one school kid is doing this and their other school kid is doing that and someone else is doing something else. But we'll see how it plays out. And I'm wondering whether it was the public outcry that brought that about, or any idea about that, or.
I think it was just the idea that I think the idea to keep some consistency. I think it's difficult enough for. I don't know. I'm just assuming that in looking at the big picture, there's a lot of people that have kids in different schools, and it's going to be complicated enough. Never mind if this school's going full time and this school's going hybrid and this school's going only online. That I can't even imagine as a parent how to navigate that. So at least if there's consistency among the district, then it's easier, I think, all the way around for parental planning. And it's 6 weeks. I believe they're going to try the hybrid model for 6 weeks, see how that plays out. And then I believe there'll be, and even within the hybrid model, I believe in the article in the Brattleboro Reformer, it also said they would be adjusting things as they need to. So as we've seen with COVID, it's ever fluid, and we can't necessarily find a normal, because then when you think it's normal, something else happens. So. But what is normal is every Friday afternoon, there's doing the farmers market down at the Waypoint Center. It's in full bloom, for lack of a better term, right now. There's lots of vegetables available, some vendors. So every Friday afternoon from 4:30 to 7 down at the Waypoint Center, its original location, you can go to the farmers market.
All right, thank you. Awesome. And our guest today is Ryan Coyne. And Ryan, you're running for state representative, am I correct?
As an independent, yes.
Yes. And some of the things I wanted to ask you is first of all, I wanted to ask you about yourself, but then I wanted to get into the whole process of how you became a candidate, and then maybe talk a little bit about what you hope to accomplish if you were elected. How's that sound?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's start. Who are you? Who is Ryan Coyne?
Yes, who am I? I just kind of came off the street and came into this building here, and there was a TV show. No, not exactly. I actually thought of this idea before COVID-19 and was planning for it. And I thought, a run as an independent. And due to COVID-19, it's actually become a lot easier. And as I was saying before, I'm surprised more people aren't running because they no longer require signatures because of COVID-19. And you pretty much can put yourself on the ballot pretty easily. But beyond that, I'm just someone that likes to be active in the community. I was on this.
You're from Bellows Falls.
Yeah, not born, but I've lived here I was a baby when I got here.
Oh, okay.
It's unfortunate because I don't know. Vermonters are very serious about who can say they're like. I think you have to be born. Well, I'm a Vermont proud person. I've been here for 35 years. I was born in New York City, but
Oh, okay.
so I have the best
Flatlander.
of both worlds actually, because I still have family in New York City, but we know what world is better, and that is here. You don't
Okay.
have to park, 100 miles away and all that. This is just a beautiful state. This is really the greatest place.
But you went to school here then?
I did, yep. 2002, I graduated from Bellows Falls Union High School. So.
Okay. And since then, you went into service?
That is also, I'm sorry, my life is kind of an interesting arrangement of things, but maybe I got a little off topic. But yes, I did go into service, but that was years after, actually. So I'm actually still in the service in the reserve.
Okay.
Categories.
What service? In the
Navy Reserves, yep.
Okay.
Going on 8 years now, actually.
Oh, really?
So,
That's
yeah.
great. How does the Navy serve in Vermont?
That's an interesting and fascinating question. We are essentially a landlocked state.
Yeah.
Lake Champlain has some naval history, but we don't have an ocean. And people are sometimes shocked. You have the Navy. I've actually had one person say, "You have Navy in Vermont?" Like, there's no. Well, I mean, there's actually Navy in every state, and my job, I've never actually been on a ship, and nor
Okay.
probably would I ever. So you have CBs, their construction battalion, right? But what I do is I work with signals somehow.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be on a computer, probably could be really in a lot of places, but as I know you were in the Air Force, you were saying,
Yeah.
which is
Many
fascinating.
years ago. but-
I know you're a humble man, but you told me some other people would brag about it, but I know you're a humble guy.
Thank you.
So thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. So here you are in 2019, but you decided this before. What made you decide that you wanted to run for office and represent the people?
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, it was. I just think it's. I know politicians, and honestly, maybe rightfully so. It's not. They're looked at kind of in a low light, but I know there's honest politicians, and I think it is a job that is noble, or certainly can be. Not every politician is perfect. We know that, but I mean, I've always been active volunteering, and my family. I kind of come from a family that believes in service of different kinds.
Mhm.
My mother was a nurse, and father was in the Marines, and grandfather was in the military, and if I can help the community in some fashion, and what better way than becoming a state rep? And in Vermont, I think it's a great place to break out into politics a little bit, because other states, it's just, we're kind of,
Yeah, we're
you know
small
what I'm
enough
saying.
that people.
You know exactly what I'm saying, but it's hard
do
to
know. I do know.
So,
Marty?
Yeah, I guess my one question, which is pretty much the question I've asked all the candidates, so I might as well be consistent. What are the major issues that you see facing Vermont that you would see would need to be addressed should you get elected?
mhm. Well, obviously, the COVID-19 situation is what is on everyone's mind. And I had watched the feed quite a bit, and I thought Kelly Tully I think she's doing a great job with the COVID-19, and I think she was right on target, everything she was doing to help out folks with that. So I think that was great. I think generally speaking, not just here, most voters think about the economy, and Vermont, from the research I found, we do really great. Healthcare, we actually do, compared to other states, we do really well. I know it's not perfect, as nothing is, but crime, Maine is the only state beating us. Education, we do pretty well, but I think the part of the economy that is a little bit concerning to folks is certain levels of taxes, and I think it's kind of hard to have a small business here. I know in 2018, they started offering folks money, $10,000 to move to Vermont. So I think that maybe going forward, after we recover from COVID-19, we should maybe look at different economic solutions and so forth. So the economy, I think, is most important to voters, and it's important to me. I live here, so.
Yeah.
And property taxes, I think, are pretty high.
So how would you, because property taxes are high to pay for services.
Correct, yeah.
So how else would you pay for services? Because basically that is the big problem. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
If anyone can crack the property tax problem.
Yeah, that's true.
They could be
and it's
king.
funny, all the candidates on both sides had said property taxes are too high.
So what do you think? How do you think you would approach that? Or how would you, if someone came up with an idea that was in general, what would it be that you would support?
Well, the first good news thing I believe is that I'm running as independent. So I'm not I would be willing to work with any party, any person, because for me, I want to, make Vermont, a good place. So it's not like, I will, listen to both sides. I don't have a party, so I'm in the middle. But I mean, I haven't, the budget of Vermont, my understanding is around $6 billion for all the services together. I think 1/3 of it is healthcare, 1/3 is education. I think about 10% is transportation, and the rest is kind of broken up. But I mean, there might be some things in there. It's probably a list this big that, maybe some things could be limited a little bit. Certainly not like slashing everything across the board, but if there's just something that was, but I also just think if you can get more small businesses here, if you can make it a little more small business friendly, I think the economy might just flourish based on that too. So
Yeah, I think small business is the key
yeah.
to Vermont because it doesn't have the manufacturing infrastructure and it doesn't have, and probably someone's going to yell at me for saying this, but it just does. It would take such a leap to get to that point. I mean, like you said, the tax structure doesn't favor it, and it just is. We don't have a big place where people could have a factory. Yeah. So how would you encourage small businesses?
Well, I would literally go out and talk to the small business owners and ask them, what's hurting their business the most and everything. Of course, in the COVID situation, I mean, I think the unemployment rate went from 3% to 15% just in that period. So I don't even know where. I mean, you'd have to. Some places I think are unfortunately going to be closed permanently because of COVID-19. So, yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of dialogue that has to happen now, and unfortunately, in my lifetime, I really haven't seen Vermont in such horrible shape because of COVID-19. Obviously, which is really unfortunate,
But it is. Do you think? Well, I don't want to hog all the time, but Marty, do you have another?
I was just going to say, so probably one of the biggest issues that Vermont is probably going to be facing, especially in light of COVID, is the idea of healthcare, because I think that COVID has brought to light a lot of flaws in our healthcare system. So do you have any insight, or have you had any thoughts on what you might think that would be a good fix, not necessarily fix, but a step forward progress for our healthcare system?
Yeah, well, doing my research, I think some years ago we were ranked number 8 compared to other states. Right now we're number 1 in healthcare. Alaska was the last state that I found, people are paying like $1,000 a month, and I don't know, it's just like but as far as healthcare goes, I think that lots of options are good, more options for healthcare, and I think when you have less options, then you have monopolies, and I think healthcare tends to go up. Maybe it sounds like from research what I've read, but
yeah.
But I think we do a good job. I mean, there's a lot of great people and experts, and that up in Montpelier, and just listening to them, and I think we'll be okay down the road.
So, quickly, how did you become a candidate? Because that's one of the things we talked about a little bit before. It was like, I always thought becoming a candidate was a huge process. You have to have a party, and you have to have petitions and people supporting you. Well, tell us a little bit about that.
So as far as being an independent, I'll tell you maybe how it works in a normal year versus this year. If you want to run as an independent candidate, you just have to get 50 signatures, and you fill out a couple pieces of paper, and you send it to Montpelier in their time frame, which they pushed back. But you can't declare it as early, obviously, as Republicans or Democrats, because they have their primary to go through and so forth. So, this year they got rid of the signatures. So if you couldn't get 500 signatures to be a congressman, you could have just
sent it in. You could be on the candidate,
which is good too, because it encourages people. I mean, I don't think it should be impossible to run, because but I do think the signatures are great, though. We do need to, I think it's but I also understand there's concerns with COVID-19, and they didn't want, so I get it.
So, but it's too late right now for people to sign up.
It is too late now. August 6th, was. The day, it was July 23rd, because, don't get me wrong, I love the post office. Sometimes my mail's gotten lost and things, and so I emailed and scanned my paperwork over to the Secretary of State, the person in charge of elections, scanned it, mailed it. It hasn't got there yet. I'm confident it will. I think the mail's a little backed up, and then I drove up there and I put it in the box just to be sure, because I've spent money on my campaign. I'm actually self-funding my whole campaign, and I'm just gonna raise the money myself. That's what I want to do. I don't. What am I trying to say? I don't think people I think some campaigns, not really in a local level, probably get a little silly. Do we really need to spend $4 million to elect the president, whoever it would be?
Yeah.
But so I got off topic. I do that a lot, don't I? But yeah, I went up there and I dropped off my paperwork. So they confirmed that I should be on the ballot. It's funny. I remember reading a news story in Pennsylvania, I think it was. The people submitted their candidacy and they got on the ballot. It was the wrong names.
Oh,
So
really?
I really hope that doesn't happen.
I hope
to
that
me.
doesn't happen to
Unless it's
you.
someone y'all like. I don't know. You know, so.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're on the ballot. You'll be on the ballot for November 3rd. What do you
should be,
think about the election results that we got yesterday? Now you have Phil Scott and David Zuckerman, and we have, for our elections, we have Leslie Goldman and Carolyn Partridge running against, I'm not sure who. It's interesting that we don't know the other side, but I guess who was on the Republican side?
There was no one. Yeah.
So it's you.
Yeah, it would be
You're the
independent
man.
and 2 Democrats. So yeah, and no Republican. So
Wow, that's interesting. So it's you, Carolyn Partridge, and Leslie Goldman.
isn't that
Should we have a
something?
debate?
I mean, I won't say no, but you know, it's up to them. So I'm a nice guy. You know, I'm here, as I told Alex, I'm here to make peace, not war.
Yes. In full disclosure, we have to let you know that Ryan did have a program on Fact TV for a couple of years, and
And it's so different than what this, although this might be equally as, you know, crazy into some, you know, what have you. This is actually, as I sat there a long time ago and people said, why is that guy eating Jell-O with a straw? Well, this is actually crazy, right, in some aspect. Why was I doing it? I think Jake talked me into it, so, you know. Sorry.
Because we won't go into that. But that was a fun time. I
That-
remember
that
because
might
I
be
was
some
on one or two of your shows, I think.
Yeah, you helped me with the big one. Actually, really the biggest thing I did, and it just showed you it was.
Oh yeah,
he was the
he
guy
brought
that
a
got
book.
it happen.
I don't know if you keep giving me all the credit. You're the one that put this
Well,
all together.
you need certified witnesses, and you have a great.
Yeah, I was a
resume, so
certified witness.
and the secretary of librarians and forgive me, I forgot her name, but she was the other witness. Like, these are great, and she was right
Amy
down
Howlett.
right down the hallway.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
What we're talking about is when Ryan was on before. Ryan was on with his mother, and they actually set a Guinness Book of World Records. Guinness, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They
And
set
actually,
a world record for the biggest collection of cookbooks, and we had the whole studio filled with cookbooks. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was an amazing amount of cookbooks to carry out. 1,500 cookbooks. I think
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah. And I was in the book, which was crazy. You know, you can have a record and you get a little certificate, and but it doesn't necessarily mean you're in the book. But she was actually in the book, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we have the book out here now. It's pretty
I-
cool.
I
We have a
was-
certificate of you out here too.
I was
Anyway.
kind of bummed out that I know they were doing the cook barbecue thing in town. I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if they ever got in the book or what happened.
No,
But I hope they
were
keep
never
doing it.
able
That
to
was-
complete it.
What a great thing for the summertime. And
Oh, yeah.
that's exciting stuff.
Well, Ryan, thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It was great. Good luck with your
Likewise.
election. I
Thank
hope
you
you'll
so
maybe
much.
come back
Oh, yeah.
before the election
Yeah,
and refresh
maybe we'll
everyone's
have-
memory. We have a clip right now that we're going to go to. Sue and I have been going around trying to catch local musicians, and this is some people that were on the Green in Chester this weekend. They used to be called the Other Guys, but they're no longer called the Other Guys. They're trying to come up with a new name, but they're really good. And it's a Bob Dylan song called "Things Have Changed."
Awesome.
Worried man with a worried mind. There's nothing in front of me, there's nothing behind. There's a woman on my lap, and she's drinking champagne. I got white skin, got assassin eyes. I'm looking up into the sapphire tinted skies. I'm well dressed, I'm waiting on the last train. Standing on the gallows with my head in the noose. It's a sneaking suspicion all hell's about to break loose. should be in Hollywood. Just for a second there, I thought I saw something move. Gonna take dancing lessons and do the jitterbug rag. Ain't no shortcuts. I'm gonna dress in drag. Only a fool in here would think he's got anything to prove. There's a lot of water under the bridge, a lot of other stuff too. Don't get up, gentlemen, I'm only passing through. A lot crazy, times are strange. Locked and tied, I'm out of range. I used to care, but things have changed. Been walking 40 miles of bad road. The Bible is right, the whole world's gonna explode. I've been trying to get as far away from myself as I can. Some things are just too hot to touch. The human mind, you know, can only stand so much. Cannot win with a losing hand. Feel like falling in love with the first woman I meet. Feel like putting a wheelbarrow and a wheeling her right down the street. Crazy, times strange. I'm locked inside, I'm out of range. Used to care. Things have changed. Hurt easy, I just don't show it. You can hurt someone, not even know it. Next 60 seconds could seem like eternity. Gonna get low down, I'm gonna fly. Well, the truth in this world adds up to one big lie. I'm in love with a woman that even appeals to me. Mr. Jinx and Miss Lucy, they jumped right in the lake. It's not that eager to make that mistake. People are crazy, times are strange. I'm locked in time, I'm out of range. I used to care, things have changed. I used to care, but things have changed.
And we're back. Marty, you had a last question.
I have one last question for Ryan. So we only have a brief amount of time left. What's one thing that you would want someone to know about you if they were considering voting for you? What's one thing, one takeaway today?
The takeaway would be, well, chances are I've actually been mailing some stuff out, so there's a lot of folks that might know something about me, but just that I believe in service. I have a military background, and I understand the word state representative. I would represent the people, and I have an email. Anyone can contact me anytime, and so forth, and just that I'm trying to keep my knowledge fresh, gathering as much information, and trying to get as much information about the economy and so forth. This is a very unique time in Vermont, and I'd love to hear from the folks. I guess that's about it. I don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brian.
Thank
Ryan. And that's it for this week. We'll see you in a week. And that's it. Bye, Bill.